Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name's JD. Who's here with me?
It's Jenna. It's not always ever Jenna.
It's Jenna. Yeah, Jenna's sitting in for Michelle, guys. We talked about it on social media earlier this week. Michelle's, just like my life became an untenable collection of struggles late last year. Michelle's situation has just, and everybody knows that Michelle is Captain Let's Do a Bunch of Things anyway. But no, she's taking some time, and thankfully, Jenna said, sure, I'll come chat with you about some fucking movies. Thanks, Jenna.
Yeah, I got opinions.
She's got opinions, y'all, and we're gonna find out what they are. We got therapy portion right out of the gate here, Jenna. Do you got anything you need to get off your mind, get off your chest? Anything that's been fucking you up this week that you just need to get out there?
No, not so far this week. It's been pretty quiet like this last couple weeks, but I've had a lot of like family health things going on since the start of 2026 that are kind of just resolving. So
I'm glad they're resolving at least.
Yeah, it's been a journey, but it's better now. So my mom was staying with me for most of the beginning of the year. They're back home now though, so it's been interesting.
Yeah, I know that feeling clearly for the last 3 years of my life with family health struggles. But the only therapy I'm dealing with today is the goddamn dog. Look, here's the thing: is this dog was a different story when Mom was still around because there was somebody else to keep his attention, and now it's just me. And now he's trying to act like he's got to go potty. And he just went potty before we started the episode. He's full of shit. But that's the only thing that's the only thing that's bringing me down right now is the dog won't leave me alone. And that's always bringing me down.
I guarantee sometime during this, my dog is also going to be like, "Hey, you're in the middle of something. You should do some stuff for me, and I'm not going to leave you alone until you do the stuff."
Absolutely, Jenna. It's been a while since we talked to you here on the show. Obviously, we're going to talk about Dolly here in a little while. But what else have you seen recently, like in the first part of 2026, that's new that you really liked?
You know, I haven't been watching a ton of movies.
Oh, I think Jenna hasn't watched the movies? Who's
surprised?
Surprise. We're so funny.
I think the last movie I went to the theater to see was Undertone.
How was it?
I was not a fan, but oh well.
Yeah, I kind of got that same vibe from Michelle. Sorry, I got a little carried away with my medicine there for just a minute, but
good.
I don't know. I'm still very curious. I'm very much a believer in the power of sound in horror movies, and so I'm curious to see how it'll work for me. But that was not my issue with it. It was a really good premise, and I know a lot of people really liked it, and a lot of people really didn't like it. There was just some other choices that they decided to do that were very unnecessary in my opinion, and really took me out of it, and was almost like laughable. Like I think towards the end of the movie, Michelle and I were both laughing because we're like, this is so like, I don't know, it just took a weird turn, and they tried to cram a bunch of stuff into the very end of the movie that was completely unnecessary. And if they would have left it as just like more of the silence and some of the sounds that she was listening to, it would have been, I think, a much better movie. And then I don't know if I was just mad or something about going to see that in the theater. And then I really didn't watch any movies for a while. I think a couple weekends ago I watched the whole Blade trilogy for some reason. Nice.
Nice.
You know what? Still pretty good.
That's a real roller coaster of a trilogy too, because the first one is really good, and then the second one is like, holy shit, this is rad. And then the third one is I don't know, it's questionable.
Yeah, it's 3 very different feeling movies, but
for sure.
You know what? Still pretty fun. Still a pretty fun time.
Sure.
A show that I watched, it's like a little mini series on Netflix is called, I think it's Something Very Bad is Going to Happen.
Okay.
I think is what it's called.
Is familiar.
Yeah, I watched it just based on that title alone. I put it on in the background while I was doing something else, and then I got really hooked into it. It's a very kind of creepy, spooky thriller veering into horror at times, but I really enjoyed it. I've been trying to convince other people to watch it because I want to talk about it with somebody.
My only problem with that situation right now is I don't have Netflix. Also, I'm in this stage in my life where I'm very, very hesitant to get caught up in series because there's so many features that I'm going to have to be watching. And also I've gotten to a point in my life where we've been able to stream like entire seasons of stuff immediately all at once.
Yeah.
But then there's huge gaps in between those chunks. I don't like the way the shows come out. By the time the new ones come out, I got to rewatch all the previous ones.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened. Yeah, the nice thing about this is I think it's like 8 episodes and it's like a standalone series.
Okay.
Like I don't think they plan on doing anything more with it because I guess they could, but as far as I know, they haven't like announced that they're planning on doing anything more with it, so like you could watch it as is.
Awesome. Well, maybe I'll find somebody's Netflix I can steal for a few days and I'll give it a look.
Netflix for some reason is one of the only like streaming services that I have. I think I just was like too lazy to cancel it at some point. I'm like, well, I guess I should watch some stuff. So Shudder and Netflix.
Yeah.
And I don't know. For
me, it's Shudder and Prime. And you know, I watch a lot of Tubi lately. They get I mean, the way they do their ads sucks, right? Because they're just like randomly inserted. Yeah. But there's a lot of really decent stuff on there.
Yeah, you know what? I do watch a lot of Tubi, but that's a nice, beautiful, free streaming service.
Right.
So.
Anyway.
One thing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Going back to Undertone, this doesn't have anything to do with like the plot of the movie, but I think one of the best reviews that I saw for it on Letterboxd was "Skinamarink me once, shame on me. Skinamarink me twice, shame on you."
I think I saw that. Yeah, that's that doesn't make me terribly excited, but
yeah.
I will, anytime that movie comes up, I have to tell anybody who might be listening for the first time, which, by the way, if you are listening to the show for the first time, hi, thanks for checking out the show. This is Jenna. Jenna's not always here, but she's here today, and that's going to be rad. Anytime, I always reference what our friend Aaron, his review of Skinamarink, which was quite simply... Skinamarink don't.
Yep.
Which was obviously like that was a very polarizing movie. People either really, really didn't like it, or a lot of people really, really liked it. Michelle thought it was a fantastic movie. It very much did not work for me. No. It's one of those things that you hear somebody say and you're just fucking furious that you didn't think of it first. Just like, God damn it, that is a perfect encapsulation of my feelings on this movie.
Yeah, that movie didn't work for me either, and like the plots are not similar at all, but it for a lot of the same reasons that Undertone doesn't work for me.
All right. Well, we could talk about other shit all day long, but we got Dolly to talk about. New Shudder original. I think it's an original, maybe an exclusive. I don't know. I didn't look close. But This, I guess, got a theatrical... Yeah, it's a Shudder original. Cool. But it had a short theatrical run, and I think for just like a couple of weeks, but it made like $800,000. This is not half bad. Did you know, Jenna, anything at all about Dolly before you sat down to watch it?
I did. I had heard some buzz about it, I think from Fantastic Film Fest.
Okay.
So I was actually like really looking forward to seeing this when it finally came to Shudder.
Okay. I'm sure probably somewhere along the line Michelle brought it up in like a Michelle in Review or an upcoming movies thing, and I just have completely forgotten about it because that's how I treat Michelle. It's entirely disrespectfully. It's because I have memory problems too. No, but I knew nothing about this. Nothing. I knew it was a movie called Dolly. I knew that the promotional imagery everywhere was like a creepy doll face, like a very sort of vague creepy doll face. So it's like, how exactly does a creepy doll work into this movie called Dolly? But that's really all I knew. And then I watched the movie. And I guess we should probably just dive right into it. I'm going to hit you with the descrippy script of Dolly. This one coming courtesy of our friends at Shudder. Just going to give you half of it, but it's enough. Here you go. Chase and his girlfriend Macy. I prefer, the way the characters play out in this. I'm going to pause real quick and I'm going to listen. Macy and her boyfriend Chase take a hike in the woods when they encounter Dolly, a hulking, monstrous figure in a doll mask. Dolly, 2025. Hour 22 minutes. Jenna.
Yeah.
You want to hit us with your spoiler-free thoughts on Dolly?
Spoiler-free thoughts. I mean, there's not a ton of story to this, really, in my opinion, I guess. But a couple goes hiking in the woods. They should have turned around and left. They didn't, and then things get worse from there.
Yeah. How did you feel about it? Did you enjoy the film? Like, if you had to give it a skull rating, what's your overall take on Dolly?
Boy, I feel like I'm gonna sound like a real hater in this episode because I'm like, I hated Undertow, I hated Skinamarink. I didn't hate Dolly. I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5 skulls for me personally.
2 skulls for Dolly from Jenna. I keep like instinctively just wanting to say Michelle, and I catch myself. I'm gonna stumble over your name all episode long.
I've been called worse.
Yeah, that's fair. So have I. I've been called. Oh shit! I've been called worse today. No, I was really torn on this. There's a lot about this movie that I really liked. It is gruesome. It is gritty. I love that. I don't know for sure if it was. I doubt it was actually shot on film. But
I believe it was.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was.
I was going to say, if it wasn't, they did a really, really good job of faking the film look of it. Again, this movie reminds me a lot of a movie like The Hills Have Eyes or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? It's that kind of movie where you go off into the wilderness and you just stumble on something that you really wish you hadn't stumbled on, and shit goes haywire. I liked it. I didn't love it. It's one that I would definitely recommend it to certain horror fans, right? Again, if you're into that kind of vibe, like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre or a Hills Have Eyes kind of vibe, it might be one that you enjoy. There are some things in it that kind of pull me out a little bit because I'm like, wait a minute, that seems weird. Some of the things that the Dolly character does, I was like, that's a little much for me. But overall, I had a good time with it. I don't regret seeing it. I came in on a 3 on this one, 3 out of 5 for Dolly.
Okay.
So 3 skulls for me, 2 skulls for Jenna. That's a 2.5 skull rating, right down the middle. for Dolly. I think right now on Shudder, here's what I'm gonna tell you is right now on Shudder, the cumulative review is only 1 skull.
Ooh.
But here's what's weird about that is that I'm looking at the reviews that are listed on the screen, and it's like 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 3, 5, 5, 1, 2, 4. How is this an average of a 1? I think their averager is bad.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
But yeah, so that's Dolly spoiler-free thoughts. It's gritty, violent, pretty gory realism. So
this movie is gross.
Yeah, it is.
Like there are. It's gross both in terms of like gore and some really cringe wincing practical effects.
Yeah.
And it also just has like a gross feel to it. Like there are scenes in this movie where I feel like I can like smell it and like feel how stale the air is and just how like musty and humid it is there.
Just and some things that are like they make you feel like there's something kind of like grossly inappropriate happening, but not in like specifically the ways it feels like I guess to be a little bit more specific without spoilery, like there are elements of this where like there's almost a sexual element to it, but it's not, but it has that uncomfortability. Yeah, this is a very uncomfortable movie. It's
very unsettling. From pretty much about 5 minutes in till the end, and it's a short runtime. But yeah, you just feel gross kind of watching the whole time for various reasons. But that's actually something that I really liked about it. You know, I like a movie that can make me feel kind of anything, I guess.
Right.
I just want to feel something, you know?
I just want to feel something. All right, so that's spoiler-free thoughts, guys. If you don't want any spoilers for the movie before you get to see it, this is where you're going to want to pause the episode. Make sure you come back when you're done. And then normally this is where Michelle would do her TBI TLDR, where she summarizes the plot of the movie while under the lifetime influence of a traumatic brain injury. She's not here to do that. And so I'm going to make an attempt to summarize for you from memory the plot of a movie I saw 2 days ago called Dolly. Are you ready, Jenna? Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So we open up and we're in this real creepy looking, rundown, gross kind of place. And there's somebody on a bed, and then there's somebody else on the bed, and the somebody else on the bed is dead, and the somebody on the bed is continuing to mutilate the corpse of the dead person, cutting off fingers and shit. We don't see any faces. We don't see any details. It's just real kind of vague, but obviously violent and gross. Next thing you know, there's this lady and a kid in a car. And then there's a guy, he's Stifler from American Pie. The other lady, I don't know her from anything but this movie, but her character is Macy, and I don't know the other character's name, so I'm just going to call him Stifler.
That's how I have him in my notes, too.
He's that poor guy, Sean William Scott. You know, I bet you... I'd like to think he's the sort of guy who has a nice balance. You know, it's like, yeah, sometimes it's annoying, but also he understands he's made a ton of money because he was Stifler. So, but anyway, so turns out Stifler and Macy are boyfriend and girlfriend, and this kid is Stifler's kid that she's grown to know. And they're going off on a weekend retreat, and Macy found a ring in his bag because she's the kind of person who snoops in other people's bags because she thinks that's an okay thing to do. Or I don't know, maybe he asked her to go in the bag and she just stumbled on it. I shouldn't be that assumptive and judgmental. So she's all nervous about it because she doesn't know because she's a commitment phobe and she doesn't know if she wants to get married or whatever. And her friend on the phone is like, "What are you, stupid? You want to marry this guy?" But they go off into the wilderness to where they're going to be doing their hiking, and there's this place they're staying, and then they're out in the woods, and they find like these creepy dolls just all over in the woods and some other toys. And instead of saying, nope, that's not the sort of thing we want to mess around with, and just going back to their place like some smart people, they say, holy shit, let's follow the path of creepy dolls, see where it leads. Leads to death and dismay. Always, creepy dolls in the woods, leave them alone. But they went following them, and all of a sudden, in amongst all the creepy dolls, there's a person. A full-grown person, a very somewhat large full-grown person, wearing a red dress and a creepy-ass fucking porcelain doll mask, and she proceeds to go after these folks with a shovel. Macy gets away. Dolly gets a hold of Stifler. She fucks up his leg with that shovel, and then she fucks up his face. She shoves that goddamn shovel right between his upper and lower jaws, and I was like, holy shit, they fucking killed Stifler like 20 minutes into this movie. That's how they were able to get him, because he's only going to be on screen for a little while. Man, was I wrong. But she splits his fucking jaw, and that's the moment where I was like, oh man, this fucking movie is going hard. So anyway, Dolly eventually kidnaps Macy, gets her caught, and takes her back to her house, and proceeds to go through a whole bunch of weird torturing things. They fight for a little while. Macy stabs her with a knife at one point. But Dolly overcomes her, and she's got her all tied up in a chair. For whatever reason, Dolly says, hey, let's pull this knife out of my side, probably because it hurt. But then she starts bleeding like a pig, and she eventually passes out. And then Macy gets away, but then she gets caught again. At one point, she tries to give Macy some food, and it's obviously gross and rotten and disgusting. And so then she goes to the refrigerator to get a bottle of milk, like a baby bottle, but that milk is all rancid and rotten and clumpy in the bottle, and she feeds that to her, and she tries to drink it, and she fucking pukes. So then Dolly says, oh, you don't want the food in the bowl? You don't want the bottle of milk? This must be what you want. And at that point, she flops out a tit, and she goes up to Macy and just starts breastfeeding Macy, because Dolly's like, this is my baby, this is my baby. And Macy bites Dolly's nipple clean off in one of the most fucking disturbingly gross but also gruesomely gory moments in the fucking movie. Holy shit. And I forgot to tell you, at one point while Macy was locked up, she finds out there's somebody else locked in a room next door to her. So after she bites Dolly's nipple off, she gets the key to that room. She goes to unlock it. Turns out there's two dudes in that room. One of them was a guy that she probably could have helped if she had gotten there a few days earlier. And the other one is some dude who just immediately goes after her, because of course he did. Turns out he's got some sort of relationship to Dolly. Maybe he's not her actual dad. It starts to do some flashbacks where they make it seem like maybe Dolly was kidnapped when she was very young and she's been raised to be a fucking monster. Very Leatherface vibe with Dolly is really kind of what's going on here. But anyway, so he comes out and he's causing all sorts of trouble, and then he starts to threaten Macy if Dolly doesn't come out. He's like, I'm going to kill your baby if you don't come down here. So then Dolly comes down there, and she ends up killing her dad, the dad guy, and then there's this whole thing where Stifler comes back, even with his fucked up split in half jaw. How he didn't fucking bleed to death, I have no idea. But there's a couple of times where Dolly like picks people up by the throat, just one-handed, just holds them up in the fucking air. Some weird sort of strengthy things like that are just a little kind of out of place. Anyway, eventually, Stifler dies. If I believe Stifler dies, if memory serves. But Dolly gets it, and Dolly's dad gets it, and Macy gets out of there. But she's traumatized, and she's just laughing and laughing and laughing. And that's the movie, Dolly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, yeah, it is. No, so that's really kind of essentially the whole story to this. There's not a lot. It's very simple story, which is fine.
Yeah, it's very much that, like I said, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we showed up to do a thing, and man, we were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and shit just proceeds to go haywire for about 85% of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so a couple thing, like the idea obviously of being held captive by this giant like mute porcelain doll figure is pretty terrifying. And the way that she treats Macy like it's her baby, she's like trying to like change her on the table, and she's like, no, I don't need that. But this Dolly is huge, and that mask is pretty terrifying too. I did not like that mask. Just this giant porcelain like baby doll head. Pretty short, didn't really add anything extra. My only thing with that is, since like Dolly is kind of the focus here, I would have maybe liked a little bit, like the tiniest bit more of explanation for what is going on here, but only because like I'm also perfectly fine, not everyone needs to have a backstory and a whole like, oh, why are they like this kind of thing. The only reason I say that is because I hate it in a movie when a villain just has this like crazy strength and is like basically unkillable for no reason, like almost in a supernatural kind of way, like a Jason Voorhees kind of thing. Like, how are you so strong? Like, essentially, this was just a normal child at one point who has now grown into this massive woman, question mark.
Yeah, that just to throw it, it's interesting because the dad or whoever refers to her in a female sense, but all of the promo material I've seen refers to Dolly by they them pronouns, and I have an idea why that we'll talk about later, but I'm glad you mentioned that because it is something that I found very interesting. Because, we never see the face, right? We never see, even just when we see a little bit of it when the mask gets broken towards the end, but even then it's always in shadow. It's
you can't, dark. You can't tell what's going on in there.
And you brought up a great thing that I didn't mention in the plot summary, which is crucial to this whole thing. She never speaks.
No.
There are a couple of moments where, and I didn't even realize it right away, but there are moments where she occasionally, or I keep saying she just because, like, that's the way the pronouns that I was given in the movie. But Dolly, like, whimpers occasionally. There are, like, some very light whispering, whimpery sounds. Again, very reminiscent of Leatherface, except he was a lot more overt and loud. But what did you think of Dolly overall as a terrifying presence, but then also with what they, at least the bit that they tried to give us about, what her story was?
Yeah, I mean, a pretty interesting character. I think that's why I was intrigued by this movie. I'm like, oh, a giant creepy doll person in the woods. I'm a fan of kind of a backwoods horror anyways.
Oh yeah.
This definitely gave me like the grittiness of like Texas Chainsaw, and especially like it almost felt like a little bit of an homage to Leatherface in some ways, and kind of
100%.
Yeah. It was also giving me like a little bit of like Wrong Turn and In a Violent Nature. I couldn't help but kind of think about that too at some points. But so I'm like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen a movie with just like a giant creepy doll. And dolls don't really creep me out in a general sense, but like seeing this massive, like, we cannot understate how massive Dolly is.
Yeah.
With this giant porcelain doll head like over their entire head is very unsettling. And then all those dolls in the woods. That's my other big thing is I don't really care about dolls, but if I'm in the woods and I see a bunch of dolls nailed to trees, I'm fucking out of there. Are you kidding me?
I'm not following that path.
And they're just like, oh, weird. What's up with all these dolls? And even Stifler says, oh yeah, I used to come here all the time. I'm like there are hundreds of dolls in one area, and they're like, oh, is this somebody's art project or what? And then they just keep going. And then they get to this lookout point where he's planning on proposing to her. And we see Dolly going through the woods and turns on this little like radio thing. And then they hear it. And they're like, oh, what's that? We should probably go check it out. Stifler's like, I'm going to go see. I want to go check it out. You stay here. I'm just going to go see what that's all about. So he goes back into the doll woods, into the doll trail. And he sees Dolly, this hulking figure and if it's from the same angle that we can see as the viewer, clearly there's something wrong. Dolly is like covered in blood, like kind of crying into their hands a little bit. And he's like, hey, everything okay here? Like, what's going on? Like, it was just so stupid. I'm like, Stifler, what are you doing? And then,
right.
Yeah. And then that's when he, gets his leg nearly severed with a shovel. Yeah, she picks him up off of the ground. Like,
right.
So, yeah, just apparently Dolly is just deadlifting and curling dead bodies all day in that dollhouse because insanely strong.
That was I brought that up in the summary for that very reason, like you were talking about just a moment ago. There are so I mentioned earlier, there's some small things that kind of pulled me out of this a bit, and that was one of them. Like, even if she had picked him up with both hands, right? Like both arms lifted him up in the air like that. Yeah. Far more believable than just like
one-handed throat pickup.
I love Halloween, and I don't buy it when Michael Myers does it. All right. No.
I can't get behind it.
It creates that sort of almost supernatural vibe, and that's not what I want from this. This is gritty realism, and that's what I loved about it.
I want Dolly to be just a regular, deranged psycho person in the woods. Mm-hmm. I don't want any weird superhuman strength for no reason that we never get an explanation for.
Right.
Like, it's scarier to me when they're like just a regular person anyways, but also why? Why is that?
I get the vibe, or at least I did, that the intent was not that anything was supernatural. They just overdid it with trying to show how strong Dolly was.
Right.
That was kind of the vibe that I got, but it was, man, I hope because I don't know if you caught, but there was something in the credits about, like, Dolly returning. So I don't know if they have a sequel planned or what, but man, I hope if they do, there's not any kind of supernatural vibes going on. I'd be really disappointed.
Yeah, I feel like they could have just easily had Dolly overpower Sean William Scott and it would have been just as effective. So when she finally does kind of let go of him, it's almost like she crushed his windpipe because he's like gasping and wheezing, and then she's going to hit him in the face with the shovel and stops, and then puts the shovel on his leg and like stomps down on it and like almost severs it, or I think that's what happened there. And then puts the shovel in his mouth and like separates his jaws. That was gross.
Death? Yeah, it's disgusting.
In the best way.
He survives and he's trying to talk with his jaw all ripped in half.
Yeah.
That was another part of this where it was almost a bridge too far into absurdity that I was like, man. But again, I feel like in a lot of ways, maybe it was more just a matter of the concept was there, but they just kind of overdid it with the effects a little bit.
Yeah, I did really enjoy that effect, and that made me like there's not a ton of stuff these days that makes me like
rad.
Yeah, it looked awesome. But, you know, there's not a ton of stuff these days in like a horror movie that makes me like want to look away and like cover my eyes, but I'm like, oh, that's gross. Yeah, and for some reason, I don't know why he didn't die there, because he doesn't really add anything to the movie when he comes back. Like, so Dolly gets Macy and like knocks her out and hauls her back to this giant decaying dollhouse kind of in the middle of the woods and is treating her like her baby. And then eventually when Macy jumps out a window because she hears Stifler kind of like mumble yelling outside because his jaw is like hanging off.
Oh yeah.
And he's like and he's just like, "Eddie, ah," and she's like, "I know who that is. That's Stifler. I gotta go." So she jumps out the window, and then there's this crazy psychedelic scene as she's falling out of the window, and I have no idea what that was about. And then she like goes up to him and is like, "Oh no, what happened to you?" Like, she's not that concerned. Also, another thing that I dislike, like I said, I'm gonna sound like such a hater in this episode. I'm like, and another thing. I do not believe that these two people were in love and potentially going to get married. I was not feeling any chemistry between them, both at the beginning when we see them together, and then when she's like, "Oh, your jaw is just hanging off of his face," right. And she's like,
"Yeah,
I found the ring and I was gonna say yes." I'm like, Macy, now's not the time. You guys gotta get out. You gotta think of survival here. Like, stop laying on the ground and being like, "Oh, touching moment. Get up, girl. You gotta go." Then Dolly comes out and pretty much just immediately kills Stifler by ripping his jaw the rest of the way off, and that's kind of it for him.
That's why he didn't die the first time, because his jaw was still attached. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter that there was all the blood loss and everything, but his jaw was still attached, so he stayed alive. I think that's the.
As long as it's just barely hanging on there, you're just fine.
You bring up a good point, though, and this is the other main thing that brought me back out of the movie a little bit is, God bless him, this whole storyline about, like, oh, I don't know if I want to marry him. I don't know if I'm ready for that level of commitment. That's why he comes back, right? That's why he stays alive. Yeah. In a meta context, is so he can come back and she can have that moment where she's just like, I found the ring and I do want to marry you. And the thing is, like, this movie didn't need that, I don't think. You could have had this same movie, you remove the kid, you remove that whole angle. This is just a couple who goes off to the woods to have a vacation. They don't even have to have this, maybe we're getting married, maybe we're not. This could be just a couple goes off to the woods and this shit goes wrong. Yeah. And then he can die where he's supposed to die. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but yeah. No, I think they just got a little too married, no pun intended, to the idea of adding that extra level of character to the story.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that little part there was just added to try and like inject a little more emotion into this and like make you care about them, because I like the actress just fine, but I mean there really wasn't like a lot of room for her to show like any character development or like really like make you care about her beyond the fact that like, oh, this sucks, this is such a bad situation, like, you know, this is awful and terrifying, but aside from that, like, you don't really know her or like care about her, and she's the only one talking too, so there's not like a ton of opportunity for that.
I don't mean to keep going back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like nobody ever watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and was like, man, I really wish I knew more of the intimate details of those relationships.
Yeah.
Right? I wish I knew about the drama going on between and this is embarrassing. I'm forgetting all of their names. Sally and Kirk. I think it was Kirk. I know Kirk's one of the guys. God damn it, this is embarrassing. But anyway, yeah, it's and I get that, right? Like I understand because a big criticism of a lot of horror along the way has been that it's a lot of one-dimensional characters and that sort of thing. But you know, and there are movies that do more with their characters, but some kind of horror, and I think this backwoods kind of shit, we should not be here kind of thing. I think what a lot of people unfortunately underestimate is that they think they need that to create emotional investment.
Yeah.
And the unique thing about horror is that if you build the horror correctly, it's okay for your characters to be one-dimensional, because what makes the audience emotionally invested is identifying with, like, holy fuck, if I was in this situation, what gets us emotionally invested is we're experiencing the same fear those people are experiencing, you know, that's
right.
Like, that's the art of it. And I think sometimes, like, this is a movie that I think would have been just as effective, if not more so, if they had peeled that back and just gave us the pure primal experience of going to the woods and shit goes wrong. Like, there's a reason that theme appears generation after generation after generation, and it's because it fucking works, man. It works.
Yeah, you can. We could have cut out like the first 5 minutes in the movie where they go to, I don't know,
it's Stifler's mom's house, I think.
Okay.
Stifler's mom's house. We've gone second level on the American Pie reference.
Yeah, so they go to Stifler's mom's house to drop his daughter off, and when she's talking to her, so Stifler brings his daughter up to the door, and Macy stays in the car, and then like her sister calls or whatever, and she's like, oh yeah, I found the ring, I don't know if I want to marry him, and then she says, I don't know if I want to be a mom, and she starts to say that she's worried about being like, and then her sister cuts her off and she's like, don't even say it. So I'm assuming that the implication there is that she's worried about being like their mom.
Like her mom, yeah.
Like not a good mom or something. And I'm like, yeah, I understand how that kind of fits into this, but I just don't think that was super necessary, because they didn't really do anything with that.
Right.
Anyways, it's not like there was some sort of so because of that, for some reason, I kind of thought that maybe Dolly and Macy would like develop a little bit of a bond or something, and that's not the direction it went.
I definitely, especially when the quote unquote dad character, she frees him from that room. I definitely had a moment where I was expecting, Macy's gonna realize, oh fuck, because they started to give us those flashbacks that are very clearly trying to tell us that this was Dolly as a child, and they don't give us any but like something happened, and now she's basically been kidnapped by this guy, and forgot to mention the person that Dolly is dismembering at the beginning of the movie and then buries. Again, not sure if. Certainly not her actual mother, but the guy refers to her as the mother, and now that the mother is dead, and all that. And I really thought this was going to turn into some kind of, like, turnaround where it was like, maybe eventually Dolly dies in the process, but they're working together now to try and deal with this. I think after I had some time to think about it, I'm glad it didn't do that, but I really was like, man, that could be an interesting angle on this for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess there was like a tiny bit of that too, because that guy,
briefly, yeah.
That guy is trying to harm Macy, and then Macy like kind of gets away, and then he's going back after, or no, he's going after Dolly, and then Macy like hits him with something. Then he turns and starts going after Macy, and then Dolly gets up. And can we talk about the fact that Dolly, with their superhuman strength, basically fists a hole through the dad's chest from behind, like a full hole, like hand through the front of the chest,
and not
with
even
and looks through the giant hole. And I was laughing. I started laughing so hard because it was so like startling that happened, and so ridiculous. And this movie takes itself very seriously in the horror. Like it's not like as fun and campy as I maybe expected it to be, or maybe would have liked it to be. I think that could have been kind of a more interesting angle on it, because if you're gonna do something like that, come on, how am I supposed to not laugh at that? That's insane.
Right. Well, and I think the issue there is that it walked that line, but didn't. I wish it would have chosen one or the other, right? Like, if you're gonna do the camp, do the camp. If you're gonna do the serious, do the serious. But like that moment, that's another one of those things, like lifting the dude up with just one hand and no assistance. Because, like, first of all, there are so many things in that room that my initial thought was, oh, something is being shoved through this guy, right?
Yes.
Because it's slow. Like, this isn't even like Dolly winds up and throws like a crazy punch and just like has a power punch through his abdomen. This is a slow push through.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Again, it's one of those things where it's so, like you mentioned, it's so kind of into that area of over the top that it pulled me out a bit. I don't think it clearly it didn't get in the way for me quite as much as it did for you, but I can understand how it would do that for sure. I didn't laugh out loud, but I did have a moment of holy, like maybe a little chuckle, right? It was a little bit much. Oh, Jenna's having a coughing fit.
Oh, man.
I have coughing fits all the time, and I can't not tell people that Jenna's having a coughing fit because I don't do improv, so I have to just literally say what's happening.
You can't yes and my cough.
I can't. No, I absolutely can't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are plenty of movies that I can watch where don't get me wrong, I can suspend my disbelief for a lot of things, but
right.
Just there was so kind of few things happening. Like, the story was so simple that I really would have liked it to just like pick like a lane and kind of stay in it, and just there were those elements that I couldn't.
Yeah, I appreciate ambition, but I feel like sometimes I think people just maybe they don't trust the strength of their core idea. I don't know. But this was one that I definitely feel like the story is there for sure. If we had pulled it back on some of those effects moments a little bit, and again, I'm not even saying don't rip a hole right through the middle of that guy, but how you do it, right? Yeah. We refigure some of those things a little bit. And this is really a fantastic film. But it does have those moments. Something that I wanted to get, and again, I want to point out again. I apologize. I did not know, based on any promotional material, because I avoid that stuff, that this character is intended to be referred to by they them pronouns, and I've been saying she the whole episode because that's what some of the characters in the movie did. But interesting thing, what I did not know about this, and I found out later, is so Dolly is played by where's the name here?
That
so
female wrestler.
Yeah, I was looking for their real name, but their wrestling name is Max the Impaler.
Oh yeah,
and I've been aware of Max the Impaler for a long time. And I had no idea that that's who was playing this Dolly character. Because the whole time I was like, man, who is this person? Because they did incredibly well, especially in a role where you're not speaking, where so much of it is just and not just not speaking, but wearing this expressionless mask.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they did an incredible job. But that was something that also I didn't know about Max the Impaler until I looked into it with this, is Max the Impaler is also non-binary, uses they, them pronouns.
Yeah, I should not have referred to them as a female wrestler. That didn't make sense, but...
No, that's... I think... I feel like most people understand when you're stumbling but trying to be correct.
Yeah, and just the reason I thought that is because when I looked up this actor and I saw who it was, I was like, God damn, that's such a badass woman. But it's just a badass person. And then the reason why I questioned earlier when I was like, Ed Dolly is a woman, ? Only because up until the breastfeeding scene, I just thought of them as like a sexless giant doll. And then I was like, oh, I was completely not I don't know. I guess that just based on stature and strength, maybe I was assuming something else.
I think that's something that I didn't really think about it a lot until just now, because that's how I work on these shows sometime, is the only place I've seen the character referred to as they is in the plot description that I read, like official plot descriptions on other things. I don't know if the character is ever referred to by they, them pronouns in the film. So I don't know if maybe that's when they talk about the character in text, if maybe what they're doing is being respectful of Max the Impaler as the performer, or if there was some intent, because much like you, I definitely had moments in this, and especially through the first chunk, where, ironically, in what I'm sure is very much tied to a sort of patriarchal, toxic masculine vibe, I was like, this is a rather large, incredibly strong person. Is that even a female underneath there? Which, of course, is archaic mentality whatsoever. But I definitely had that sort of ambiguous gender sort of experience. And then, God damn it, she whips that titty out and goes to excuse me. And I was just like, okay. And it just, so it just registered to me as female all the way through. And it is interesting that I'm only seeing those pronouns in the descriptions. And again, I wonder if that's just out of respect for the performer as well, which obviously I want to respect everything the way I can. I just, I feel like if this was supposed to be a they, them character, there wasn't a lot in the movie that pushed me to that, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I feel like it could have easily been a they, them character had they not have gone with that breastfeeding scene, but that was also a gross scene. And then right before that too, which it's just like it's such an invasive idea of, first of all, you're kidnapped and you have no idea like what or who this person is because they're wearing a mask. Like, you don't know them. You're in this gross, disgusting house, and now you're being like force breastfed by a stranger as an adult person. Like, that is terrifying. And then getting that baby bottle full of that nasty curdled milk before that too. Like, there was just a lot going on in that scene, but I was just like, whoa, like Dolly just turns around and there's a titty out, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that and like when I was talking about the stuff that had I think what it was is I was worried they were going to become sexual, and then they didn't. But like the forced breastfeeding thing, the changing her like she's changing a diaper thing, right? And I think a lot of that is just There are a lot of serial killer type stereotypes that relate to that sort of thing. But no, it's genuinely like Dolly sees this as I'm the mommy and this is my baby.
Yeah, it was coming from, I guess, a nurturing place, like trying to take care of you in a way.
Right. Because that's, it's like she doesn't understand, don't understand that Macy is rejecting the food because it's revolting, not because that's not what she wants. Right? The way Dolly plays it gives her the bowl of food, and Macy spits that all over, and then Dolly's more like confused, right? And then, oh, I know, I'll get the bottle, and gives her the bottle, and that doesn't work, and then confusion again. And then she's like, okay, I'll breastfeed you, and it's. I really feel like the way that character was played was really fucking impressive. Again, with it being never speaking and being behind that porcelain expressionless mask the whole time, there was incredible work done by Max the Impaler here.
Oh yeah, incredible like body language, and the movements were so unsettling, and just the way that they walked in that outfit, and these like weird sudden like almost kind of floppy turns is the only way that I can just very doll like. So I did really enjoy that. So my scoring of the movie is nothing against the very small cast in this movie. It was just like there were some elements that took me out, and then maybe the last thing that I am going to bring up that kind of drove me crazy, but it was also interesting, is at the end of the movie when so there's a final showdown between Macy and Dolly, and Macy ends up killing Dolly and pushing her into the grave where her mother figure's headless body is already in. And then Macy runs through the woods and gets back to like the parking area where their vehicle was. She gets back there. There's like a forest ranger, like a park ranger there, this kid. And she comes running up. She is wearing this like weird little doll dress. She's clearly been through some shit. Yep. And the guy's like, "What's up?" And she's like screaming in his face, and she's like, "There's a person out there, giant doll mask trying to kill me." And he's like, oh man, that's crazy. And he like gets on his radio and he's like, "Yeah, you're not gonna believe this, but like another woman came out of the woods saying that there's this like killer doll in the woods." So somebody else, at least one other person, has come out of those woods and said this. What happened to them? Did they never investigate? Because because this is a hiking trail. There are hiking signs on this trail. You can't tell me that this park ranger has never seen these crazy ass dolls in there, and that there's this giant dollhouse not too far into the woods. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's a little much for sure. One thing I did want to point out with regard to Max the Impaler, because I am always a person who takes every opportunity I get to not just defend, but to put over, as they say, pro wrestling. And Max the Impaler's success in body language performance here is 100% from their life in pro wrestling, right? Like live, because the independent pro wrestling world, the not TV wrestling world, the live show is a much different thing. And so much of what they do in those live experiences, it's not made for cameras, it's made for the audience. And there's so much, just like in traditional theater, this big body language for the people in the back, right? Yep. This, you have to tell stories through the way when you you supposedly take a huge move or whatever, like the way you sell the damage, and like it's 100% based around body language performance. And so I don't know if that's what they had in mind when they brought Max the Impaler in here, or if it was just, we need somebody with the size to be able to pull this off. But man, picking an experienced pro wrestler to do this was a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Pro wrestlers don't get nearly the respect they deserve.
Yeah, I agree. I think that history in not only understanding like the performance aspect of it and almost the theatrics of it, you have to make everything look bigger. You have to make everything look worse, when you take a hit and all that kind of stuff, because it has to resonate with the people in the audience.
Yeah.
Similar to doing theater, you have your stage makeup, you have your stage performance, everything is just bigger and bolder. And also too, just from the athleticism, I think just having that body awareness too, yep. I think probably really benefited this character.
Yeah, so I guess I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it. Enjoyed the movie. I am very curious about the prospect of a sequel because, again, I find myself wondering, I liked it enough that I would definitely go in with a positive attitude to see another one. Just to see where it goes. If it did go into somewhat of a Jason Voorhees territory, I don't know if it will be my vibe. But how do you feel about a sequel?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, seeing Dolly some more and kind of, maybe like fleshing out that character a little bit more. And sometimes too, like I feel like there's a few franchises where maybe the first movie is not the best or not maybe my favorite, and then once they get like a little bit more like feel for the character and like maybe a little bit more like budget and something like that, they can really do a lot more with it, like. And just kind of, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Dolly will become a horror icon.
I I could see that for sure. Here's the thing, and just another quick thought I want to put out there. This happens to me all the time. I have thoughts while Michelle and now you are talking, and I think of it's part of how I'm trying to not be an interrupting asshole as much as I usually am. But I have thoughts, and I got to try and hold on to them, and then I forget, and then I remember forever ago when it's out of context. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, and now I've completely forgotten and this is another thing I do all the time. It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't start to have a thought, then explain why I'm hitting the thought, and then forgetting the thought because I over-explained the thought.
Yeah. So Michelle and I both have that issue sometimes too, so we're like, I just got to tell you this thing really quick. So when the two of us are having a conversation, it's just that back and forth, and it's just like, okay, but then I gotta tell you this thing. We were at a friend's house recently, and we were sitting next to each other and catching up a little bit, and somebody was gonna come like sit next to us. So I was like, you don't want to sit next to us. We will not shut the fuck up. Like we're going to watch it as like we do this thing where my brother-in-law plays scary games.
Oh, we know about Spookum Nights.
Yeah, Spookum Nights. And I was like, you don't want to sit next to us. We will not shut the fuck up this entire time. So if you want to pay attention, you should probably sit somewhere else.
And I did remember, and that's the other brilliant thing that usually happens is much like you just did. Michelle will step in and talk about something and give me time to remember. You had mentioned earlier how you're not typically like a creepy doll kind of person.
Yeah.
And I also am not a creepy doll person, but where I think this works is what I am is a person in a creepy doll mask person, right?
Yes.
Like the whole vibe of it. Like there's a movie called, have you seen Happy Death Day?
Yes.
Like even that, like there's something about like just that extra giant. I've seen people with like giant, but they're like giant baby heads.
Yeah, I don't like
look
those.
Like a realistic baby. Creepy
I don't like
as
those
fuck.
either.
Yeah,
I just.
That's totally what it is. It's like it's that person with this creepy fucking doll mask.
Yeah, it's like you don't know what's going on in there, and also just any type of giant like mask or something where you can't see a person's face and they're obscured like that. I'm like, I don't know what your intentions are. I can't see your facial expressions. It's freaking me out. And that's probably why I'm also scared of furries.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Not in a shame way. It's just those costumes are so big and I don't know who's in there.
Yeah.
And mascots.
You don't know how they're looking at you.
Furries and mascots.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Out.
Is look, furries, please live your life, man.
Furries,
absolutely live your life.
Furries, you do you, please. But
I have been freaked out by mascots since I was 4 years old, so I'm sorry if every now and then I get a little jumpy around a furry. It has nothing to do with your lifestyle. It has everything to do with being weirded out by large anthropomorphic animals since I was a child.
Exactly. I want you to express yourself, be your furry self, please. And like when we're at conventions and stuff, I love that that's a space where people feel comfortable enough to do that. I'm just freaked out by giant like masks and like it's just so big.
Please forgive me if I turn around and I see you and I'm a little startled. It's like, giant bunny.
It's nothing personal. It's just the size of the mask and like stuff. I don't know. Something about just startles me.
I started seeing these recently. I don't know. They've started popping up in my Facebook feed for some reason or other. There's this company. They make these hats, right? It looks like your standard baseball style hat, but it's huge.
Oh yeah.
And so like you put it on and it's like it's fitted around your head so you can wear it, but then it looks like a giant fucking baseball hat that's like 10 times too big for you.
Yeah. I have a friend that has a cowboy.
Weird. I don't like them.
I have a friend that has a cowboy hat like that, and it's just
it's one of the uncanny valley triggers for me, for sure.
It's like, that hat is wrong. That hat is way too big. I don't like it.
Please stop wearing that hat immediately.
Yeah, and also I think I also blame a little bit of this on like, did you ever used to read or watch Animorphs when you were a kid?
No, I was just a little bit too old for Animorphs, but I'm well aware of the book covers and the creepiness of it all.
The book covers freaked me out when they were in the in-between, like, human-animal state. I think because the artwork was kind of wild, but I don't know. I just think that there was just a lot of media back then that was like portrayed animal people in ways that was very confusing.
How do you feel about the island of Dr. Moreau?
I don't know if I have any strong opinions.
It's the animal people in that creep me out.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I don't really have much else to say about Dolly. I think we hit all the big points here. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. This has turned out to be just a normal old We Watch Shudder episode. Sorry, Michelle, you've been replaced. Get the fuck out of here.
This is almost the same runtime length as the movie Dolly.
Almost.
It's an hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, I guess one question that I have for you that I didn't ask because I was probably ranting about something is when she jumps out the window
I don't know what that was about.
Okay, because in the movie, so she jumps out the window and it cuts to this crazy psychedelic scene that she looks like she's just falling forever, and there's like red swirls of color, and there's
this psychedelic Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo kind of thing.
Yeah, and then when then she's on the ground and she crawls over to Stifler and everything's fine for a second, and then he's dead. And then it kind of happens again. She's like spinning in circles in the woods and losing her goddamn mind, which makes sense. But it went into this weird, like, mushrooms just hitting vibes for a second. And those were kind of two other things that took me out of it, because it was just such like a sudden change of pace and just the way the movie was going. And I was like, what is happening here?
The only explanation I was able to get to for that is just, again, that meta sort of, this is a thing that we were able to do, and so we thought it would be cool to do it, like with some of the special effects getting away from them. I think it was just another moment of, we pushed things a little farther to do something cool than necessarily served the story quite so well. Little bit of moving too far into style over substance, at least, again, for my taste. Please understand, if this is the first time listening to We Watch Shudder, our ratings are not like meant as some kind of criticism. This is a rating of how much we personally enjoyed the film, how much it worked for us. Right, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, the Shudder website, as I was just scrolling down, has tons of 5-skull reviews, 4-skull reviews. Lots of people really enjoying this movie. You might really fucking enjoy this movie too. And again, tons of things about it that I really, really, really liked. Jenna, are you gonna come back and do another one of these with me at some point in the future?
Yeah. Are there some more Shudder releases coming up soon? I don't even know. I don't know what's upcoming on Shudder. I know what's upcoming theatrical that I really want to see. So while you're looking...
Oh, holy shit!
What?
I didn't even catch this right away. The guy who plays the creepy kidnapped dad in the room that Macy releases?
Yeah.
That's Ethan Suplee. Do you know Ethan Suplee?
The name was on that. What was he in?
I know him originally from Mallrats and American History X.
Is he it's a schooner guy?
Yes. Yeah, and then he lost a whole bunch of weight, and then he's probably best known to most people is he was on that show My Name is Earl.
Oh, okay.
But that was Ethan Suplee who played that guy. That's wild.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Well, I didn't look him up. I looked up the actress that plays Macy, and to see if I knew them from anything else, and I don't think I did. And then I looked up the director, but I did not recognize. I think they have 2 other movies that I have not seen.
I will definitely be looking for more from them.
Yeah, I would. Like I said, it's nothing against any of the. You
don't have to defend yourself, Jenna.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't use my words anyways, but yeah, there was just a few things that I was like, what? But I do think maybe they set it up for like the possibility of having sequels with that park ranger kid saying that this is not the first time that somebody has said there's a crazy doll person out there.
My immediate assumption was, because I believe they said something about Dolly 2 specifically in the credits, and my immediate thought was, prequel?
Yeah, because they kind of like it's kind of implied that Dolly is dead, but they never stay dead.
They never stay dead. We shall see. Do you want to know what's coming up on Shudder in the next several weeks?
Yeah, I do.
So next week there is a Shudder exclusive. It's a film called Heresy. Hang on just a minute. I'll find some details about it. Shudder did this brilliant thing recently where they started putting up an upcoming movies section on the website.
Yes.
So this movie's called Heresy. It's woman in a Dutch village, sort of a period piece. Anyway, it looks like a good sort of witchy folk horror kind of thing.
Okay.
That's coming up, Shudder exclusive. The week after that is Whistle, the streaming release of that theatrical release from earlier this year about the Aztec death whistle.
Yep, I do want to see that because I think that one will be kind of cheesy, campy, fun.
I saw it theatrically, and that's all I'm going to say right now until we perhaps do that episode. After Whistle, there's another Shudder exclusive. We got like 4 exclusives in a row, and then we get to another original. But so we got Heresy, then Whistle, and then there's a film called Something Is About to Happen, which I don't really know a lot about. Looks like it's a sort of perhaps erotic, psychological horror kind of vibe. Looks somebody's gone missing, latent sexuality,
and then something happens.
Yeah, something is about to happen at least.
Oh, okay.
And then after that is a movie called This Is Not a Test, which is about some high school kids in some sort of crazy danger apocalypse situation.
Okay.
So that's, and then I even know now, this one's not on the website yet, so I don't know shit about it. But the weekend of June 1st, that last weekend of May, I believe on Shudder it'll drop on May 29th, is something called Smothered. That's all I know. Smothered, a Shudder original.
Okay, great.
Well, we'd be happy to have you for any and all of those. I don't know if you got time in your busy schedule to do all of them, but you got your pick of the litter. I'll tell you that much. Whenever you want to come back and do one of these, you are more than welcome to come back.
All right.
But you can't have it forever. Michelle's got to come back eventually. Please,
no,
Michelle, I love you.
I want Michelle to come back.
I know. We all want Michelle to come back. I know you don't want to put up with me forever, and that you won't, because she is a long-suffering, just incredible human being, and I drive everyone crazy eventually.
Well, it's not Shudder related, but I think on Friday, Michelle and I are going to see Hokum.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
I'm very excited for this. I've heard really good things, and I'm trying to keep my expectations low, but also the director's other 2 movies are absolutely fantastic. So
yeah,
that helps.
I have no reason to believe that it's not going to be fabulous, and I'm super excited. I
want to be scared and unsettled and super spooked. And then my most anticipated upcoming horror is Curry Barker's Obsession.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about it except that was a Curry Barker movie. And then I caught the trailer a couple of weeks ago and was just kind of like, holy shit.
Yeah, everybody, really all excited. The reviewers that I like to watch that went to Fantastic Film Fest were like, do not miss this. When it comes, everybody said it was their favorite movie that they saw there. So
Wait, you guys are going to see Hokum on Friday?
I think so. Friday or Saturday. Sometime.
Oh, man.
Sometime in the next week.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep stepping over you. No, I was going to mention that also this Friday, at least for those of us here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, local film called Roommate, which is a sort of horror thriller film that was written and directed by my friend Jessica Hayes. It's a free show, 7 o'clock doors, 7:30 start time. Is involving some sort of like viral outbreak, and there's I'm looking at some of the imagery here, and there's people in scary masks and blood splattered everywhere. And
where can people catch that? Where can we go see that?
That's at the Fargo Theater. this Friday downtown, May 1st, 7 p.m. doors, 7:30 p.m. start time. It's free.
Okay.
They just want people to come out and see the movie. So that's where I'm gonna be. Yeah, lots of cool stuff coming. I cannot wait for Holcomb. I cannot wait for Obsession. There's so much fucking rad stuff coming up in the next. There's been an insane year for horror already, and we're not even halfway through.
Yeah, there's still a lot like coming up in the second half of the year that I'm really excited about. But Michelle is always very on top of. She buys all the movie tickets, so she's already she bought everybody tickets, and she was giving us the lowdown on okay, I see that Marcus Theaters list. There's something else that's upcoming too. She's like, okay, Backrooms. She's like, they have promo stuff for Backrooms, so they're probably gonna have that. She's like, I don't see anything for Obsession, and I told her that if we do not get Obsession here, I will do Crimes.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that.
I will find Greg Marcus and give him a piece of my mind. I changed my mind. I was like, I should not be threatening Greg Marcus.
Why not? I guarantee you, Jenna, Greg Marcus does not listen to We Watch Shudder.
Haven't you seen his before movie ads? He's a pretty cool dude.
He's
pretty hip.
He's a dude.
He's pretty with the media.
If you live somewhere in the Marcus Theaters cinema chain region, you know exactly what we're talking about. I'd be willing to bet you could probably find clips of it on YouTube. I gotta go find out now right away before I even stop recording this. Can you see Greg Marcus on YouTube? Because man, he's a
you're
special
right though.
guy.
Greg Marcus is not listening to this, but also I just probably shouldn't. It's not his.
They
fault,
are. But... Somebody's got a full playlist of Greg Marcus intros.
Oh no.
How many of them are on here? I gotta see how many.
As often as I go to the movie theater, I always forget about his little intro before every movie, and I cringe every time. I don't know. I kind of like them, but they're also so cringy.
There are 19 of them on this playlist.
Yeah, every time I go, it's like a different one. So I don't know if he's just cranking out these shorts to play before a movie or what is going on. But
it's wonderful. All right, guys, check out Greg Marcus on YouTube. Just Google or search on YouTube Greg Marcus intros, GregMarcus. That's the joy we get to go through every time we go to see a movie.
Greg Marcus, if you're listening, I'm sure you're a great guy, but please, just for your own safety, get Obsession to your theaters.
I'm here just trying to get him to stop doing the intros, and you want to make sure we.
Greg Marcus, you can do as many cringy intros as you want, as long as I can see Obsession when it comes out.
I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. No. All right. Well, anyway, Jenna, thank you for joining me. I'm sure we'll have you again in the future. Everybody keep sending Michelle your well wishes on the Facebooks and the Instagrams. You can shoot her an email at mail@wewatchshudder.com. Tell her how much you love her, and wish her a speedy reduction in the shittiness of life. And that's about it. Say good night, Jenna.
Good night, Jenna.
Hey, we got it.